Glüx, a game designed by Jacob Andrusch and published by Queen Games, is for 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up and plays in about 30 minutes. The double-sided game board is to accommodate varying numbers of players. On the board is a grid of light blue squares that represent rooms and dark blue squares, which are the paths between the rooms. The goal of the game is to be the player with the majority of points in the rooms by the end of the game. There are 4 player colors to choose from, each with a start marker, scoring marker, and 24 light chips. Light chips are how a player can move around the game board. They are double-sided and go into a player's draw bag. At the start of a 4-player game, each player places their start marker in the corner of the room closest themselves, then draws a light chip from their own bag and chooses what side they want to place face up on their start marker. The number of pips on a light chip has 2 functions. One is to determine who has the majority in a room by adding a player's pips together. The other function is movement. The player counts from one of their own chips as many squares as the number of pips on that chip. The last square reached, the destination square, is where they will place their new chip. Then choose what side of the light chip to place face up. There are rules for placement, which become challenging to fulfill as the game progresses and the game board becomes crowded. A player can choose any of their previously placed light chips to move from. The new light chip has to be placed vertically or horizontally from that chip. If a player's own chip or another player's chip is on a square between the starting chip and the destination square, the player cannot place that chip. That path is blocked. If the destination square is occupied by a single light chip belonging to any player, including the active player themselves, the player may place their new light chip on top of that chip. If there is already a second light chip on this occupied square, the square is locked. A third chip cannot be placed. The game ends as soon as no player can draw another light chip from their bag, or there are no legal light chip placements left on the board. Evaluate each of the rooms one at a time, adding each player's pips to determine who has the majority and who is in second. The player with the majority gains 4 victory points. The player in second place gains 2 victory points.